him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-ma-gob, everybody. It's time for the only news that matters. And way back in 2019, Nikki Sixx had some not so nice words via 2 tweets aimed at people he felt were coming out of the woodwork around the time of Motley Crue's The Dirt movie. And specifically, has-beens, never was, washed up long ago, small career people is what he's basically calling Jakey Lee. You know, and Jakey Lee felt like that barb was aimed at him. I think it was as well. Since Sixx also dispelled the rumor that Motley Crue supposedly asked Lee to be their guitarist at some point during the early 80s. So much so that he tackled the topic head on during a recent interview on Tone Talk. He said, Nikki got his panties in such a twist over what I said when they wanted me to join Motley Crue, which is fucking true. They did. Other people have backed me up on that, which is true. Bob Daisley said back then that Nikki and Tommy both told Bob Daisley they were firing Mick Mars and wanting to get Jakey Lee. So yeah, that is true. He has backup on that one. And recently, even Mick Mars said, yeah, they always were telling me, Jakey Lee, blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't lying, and I don't think I was saying anything mean. But Nikki got, all wank about it, The interviewer then claimed that Lee once being courted by the Crew is nothing new. Supposedly, it was the first report in a 1983 issue of Kerrang! Magazine. This was in 83 before Motley Crue came out with Shout at the Devil, Jakey Lee said. And I said, yeah, they wanted me in the band, but Nikki got in such a fucking hissy fit. I don't even see how that's a bad thing. It's just, hey, it's a matter of fact, blah, 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 blah. And he called me a shadowy worm. Shadowy worm. I remember basically that's just a weird thing to call somebody. Yeah, no shit. Shadowy worm. Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I gotta remember that, For all the, the twats that attack people on YouTube that nobody knows. They're all shadowy worms. Anyway, Lee then shared a comparison that is straight out of Tim Burton's film, or rather, to Tim Burton's film. He said, oh, he did the whole has-been wannabe, which, can you be both? A has-been and a wannabe, but a shadowy worm? I remember because who talks like that? I'm going to start talking like that, actually, Jake. That's a weird thing. And here's the thing I've been sitting on. It's like he thinks he's in a Tim Burton movie, calling me a shadowy worm, which makes sense because he dresses like Beetlejuice and he plays bass like Edward Scissorhands. Oh, that's an awesome burn. Yeah, I gotta applaud that one. That was badass. He said, I've been sitting on that for a long time. I have to get it out there. And that'll be the clickbait headline on the internet now. Lastly, Lee also shared his thoughts on the current Crew John 5 and if he's a good fit after Mick Mars' replacement in the band. He said, John 5 is an awesome guitar player. He's an incredible guitar player. I just don't know that he's right or what I would expect from Motley Crue. Alright, there you go. Yeah, Nikki Sixx. Of course they wanted Jake in the band and fire, Mick Mars. Bob Daisley confirmed that before I ever heard Jake say this. And really, if you really want to get technical, Jakey Lee is as much as a has-been as Nikki Sixx. Sure, Nikki Sixx, and they can headline a stadium with Def Leppard, or, you know, I mean, recently they've been down here twice playing the Hard Rock, which is not a big place, you know, and they don't have no musical hits. They're not contemporary. They're playing to a nostalgic, you know, audience. You know, you'll find, you know, a few young people scattered around, but it's mostly, you know, people that were around back then that love Motley Crue. Those are the only ones that really go see them anymore. And, you know, and also all this stuff of them using tapes and stuff has turned a lot of people off. Because after that stadium tour, and while Nikki was begging the press of, hey man, let's see if we can get Guns N' Roses to do a tour with us so we can play stadiums again, because we damn sure can't do it ourselves. Right? You know? So, yeah, he's a has-been. And, unlike Jake, he's also a wannabe. And I will say, you know, Jake's like, how can you be both? Well, this is how you can be both, Jake. You beat Nikki Sixx, all right? First off, he's a has-been. Come on. Ask any random, you know, teenager out there. You know, maybe 1 out of 50 may know. And he's also a wannabe musician, all right? I'm not saying Nikki Sixx isn't a musician. I mean, yeah, the guy does musical stuff, so he's technically a musician, but he's not in the same level that he thinks he is. See, he thinks he's an amazing, you know, Mozart, you know, type of musician, and it's been, I've heard it in interviews, how, I want to be respected as a musician, and also it was that Quaternary CD where Nikki Sixx, in between songs, he's like, come on, we're musicians. That's some wannabe shit right there. So yeah, he's both. He's a wannabe and a has-been, you know? And Motley Crue's got to stay on out there, you know, to keep their name out there, man, because honestly, nobody gives a flying fuck. They released an EP that nobody cares about. Most people think it's god-awful, including myself. It's just, this is a band that has really run its course. And well, anyway, I hope Jake is recovering well. I'm so glad that he's survived and that he's home, recuperating. That's such great news. Jake rules, man. An honest guy, unlike Nikki Sixx. If you listen to any Jakey Lee interview, the guy's as honest as can get. I mean, he's beyond honest, you know? And Nikki Sixx has proven what a bullshit artist he is, even before that fake contract, or we'll never tour again, and we're gonna write this contract, you know? That contract, I mean, it lasted 5 years. 5 years of farewell tour, it's done, right? 5 years later. And then they try to, and the way they sold it, that's even more insulting. You know, the way they sold it, Motley Crue sold it by making a commercial going, Motley Crue's contract, blah, blah, blah. Rules are meant to be broken with Motley Crue, and the room explodes. I mean, I can imagine the poor people that spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars traveling around, seeing their farewell show, or the people that came from other countries, and that final show in LA. I'm sure people from all over the world went to that, only to find out 5 years later, well, the rules were meant to be broken because we're Motley Crue. Yeah, you're also bullshit artists. So I'll believe Jake saying that you wanted him to join Motley Crue. I'll believe that way before I believe anything out of Nikki Sixx's mouth. And then, you know, you got Bob Daisley confirming it, which shows, you know, this guy's a bullshit artist. But anyway, what do you all think? Leave it in the comments below. What do you think of Nikki Sixx, man? Huh? What do you think of Jakey Lee? Hate Jakey Lee? Leave it in the comments below. love Nikki Sixx, leave it in the comments below. All comments are welcome. And the logical comments of loving Jake and hating Nikki Sixx, those are very welcome as well. And thank you again so much for watching The Only News That Matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And ring that little notification bell. I totally would appreciate that. Oh, and like the video because that'd be awesome for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and schmack 'em a gab.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.